This is Europe, a continent where empires rose and fell at the beginning. However, Europe was a forgettable landmass on a lush planet. As Homo sapiens migrated from Africa, Europe witnessed remarkable progress. Soon, the continent would see legendary battles, brilliant philosophers, immortal architecture, powerful monarchies, and world domination. But as the first settlements became the greatest civilizations humanity has ever seen, the first time on the channel. Subscribe now so you don't miss any important content about the darker chapters of our history. The inhabitants of Kyrakita on the modern island of Cyprus in 700 BC changed the way of life of Europeans and paved the way for agriculture. The settlement was surrounded by a defensive wall made of large stone blocks. The houses within the settlement were circular and built with a combination of stone and mud brick. The interiors of the houses had several rooms, indicating a level of sophistication in architectural planning. They lived off wheat, barley, lentils, and peas. Ultimately, the people of this ancient city spent their days creating food. While the need to feed themselves was crucial, early Europeans also found equally important the creation of massive stone structures called megaliths. From 4000 to 2000 BC, several megaliths appeared across the continent, such as in the current county of Clare in Ireland. The Polnabron Dolmen is a large portal tomb with 3 upright stones that have held it in place for thousands of years. Of all the megaliths, one still captivates us today in modern Salisbury, United Kingdom. It is the magnificent Stonehenge, a structure that was once the center of civilization. We will never fully know the purpose of a structure like this. While Stonehenge was being built across the continent, the first advanced European civilization was emerging on the island of Crete under the leadership of King Minos. The Minoan civilization became a trade hub where Egyptians, Phoenicians, and Mesopotamians met on the island of Crete. While exchanging goods, they also exchanged cultures and ideas with the Minoans. The Minoans took ideas they learned from other cultures and created the roots of all European languages in a model known as Linear A. Their language was very similar to that of the Egyptians in many ways, as it was based on several symbols that could be used to create a variety of meanings. Around 1600 BC, in mainland Greece, the Mycenaean civilization took the complex nature of Linear A and simplified it, creating a language system of 87 distinct symbols. The Mycenaeans built their civilization on city-states. Each city would be ruled by a warrior king known as a wanax, who controlled the surrounding territories and maintained a hierarchical society. They depended on the support of aristocrats and nobles to govern their city-states effectively. Mycenaean city-states engaged in diplomacy, trade, and occasional conflicts among themselves and with neighboring civilizations. They were not unified under a single Mycenaean state but existed as separate entities, each with ruling elites and administrative systems, creating influential cities and states such as Mycenae with its massive cyclopean walls, Pylos with its Palace of Nestor, and Sparta with its impressive military strength. Each of these city-states functioned independently until conflict broke out. In present-day Turkey, the independent city of Troy faced a Mycenaean coalition in the Trojan War around the 13th and 12th centuries BC, initiated when the Trojan prince Paris abducted Helen, the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. After a 10-year siege, the Greeks managed to infiltrate Troy with the famous wooden horse, allowing the city's fall and destruction. Although the historical accuracy is uncertain and based on Homer's works, this war exemplified the ability of Greek city-states to unite against a common enemy. Later, with the decline of the Mycenaean city-states due to internal conflicts and attacks from the Sea Peoples, the Phoenicians established colonies in the Mediterranean, and their alphabet influenced the Greek city-states. Around 800 BC, the Hallstatt culture in Austria began using iron, revolutionizing weapons and trade in Europe, while the Celts established extensive trade networks and the Etruscans founded city-states in Italy. In Greece, the polis system emerged, with Sparta and Athens flourishing as the heart of Greek philosophy under Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. The Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta, which started in 431 BC, devastated the region and culminated in Athens' surrender in 404 BC, marking the end of its supremacy. Alexander the Great, who took power in 336 BC, conquered much of the known world before his death in 323 BC, leaving a power vacuum quickly filled by Rome through its conquests. Julius Caesar subdued the Gallic tribes, highlighting his victory over the Helvetii and the siege of Alesia, thus consolidating Roman control in the region. Vercingetorix was captured and executed in Rome in 46 BC, marking the end of Gallic resistance to Julius Caesar. Despite opposition from the Senate, he consolidated his power until his assassination in 44 BC. His successor, Octavian, became Augustus, the first emperor of Rome after defeating Mark Antony in 31 BC. During his reign, Rome enjoyed the Pax Romana. Christianity emerged with the crucifixion of Jesus during the rule of Tiberius, and Claudius invaded Britain in 43 AD. Over the centuries, the Roman Empire underwent major changes, such as the construction of the Colosseum, its maximum expansion under Trajan, and the establishment of Christianity as the official religion by Constantine in 313 AD. After the invasion of Italy by the Lombards in 568 and the Muslim domination of Spain initiated by Tariq and Ben Silid in 711, power in Europe transformed with Pepin the Short supporting the papacy and Charlemagne being crowned emperor in 800. The arrival of Vasco da Gama in Calcutta marked the beginning of globalization, while the Renaissance brought figures like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Nicholas Copernicus challenged the geocentric model, and Martin Luther sparked a religious revolution in 1517, opposing the Catholic Church. Henry VIII created the Anglican Church in 1534, and the Ottoman Empire under Suleiman the Magnificent expanded its influence in Europe, capturing Belgrade and besieging Vienna. However, Ottoman rule also brought mistakes, such as the slave trade and the brutal practice of the blood tax, which fueled discontent and demonized Islam in the West. Spain, in particular, opposed Ottoman expansion, and the two empires would eventually fight in a multi-continent religious war against each other, while Christianity and Islam faced each other once again. But before all this, the Spaniards were busy fighting another religious war, not against Muslims or foreign invaders but against the English king and his new religion, Protestantism. However, this Protestant behavior was abhorred by King Philip II, who saw himself as a devout Catholic and defender of the faith. On the other hand, Queen Elizabeth I, a Protestant ruler of England, threatened his religious beliefs. So, Philip sent the famous Spanish Armada to England, carrying the banners of the Catholic Church, symbolizing the divine mission he believed he was undertaking. If you have made it this far and have learned something new from our stories, subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss our next videos. Together we can discover and remember the truths that history often tries to hide.